for aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Okay. So during the last lecture, we already noticed that one of the major macroeconomics problem is the fluctuation of GDP value throughout a year for a nation. Right? So that means the GDP or the national income for a nation is not always consistent, but it's always fluctuate, which going through the 4 stages, right? Namely, what are the 4 stages that you already learned in the business cycle? So you can recall, what are the 4 stages? Stage 1 is Jason. Somebody want to answer the question, right? There are 4 stages in the business cycle, right? Which are recovery, good, followed by boom. Then after that,
peak.
Yeah. Peak is boom, right? Stage 2. And then stage 3 is
recession.
Yes, recession, correct, very good. Then stage number 4 is
True.
Truth, right? Yep, or depression. So to finish one business cycle is involve about 10 to 12 years. 10 to 12 years for a business cycle. What is the reason why the GDP value or national income of the country fluctuate throughout the years? Actually, is due to the fluctuation in aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Okay, this is due to the changes of the total demand and total supply in an economy. So what is the meaning of aggregate demand then? Aggregate demand actually is referred to the total number of output that are wished to be purchased by the buyers in an economy. Okay, number of total output that wish to be purchased by the buyers in an economy. So who are the buyers then? The buyers can include the individual household, and we use C as the symbol. Okay. The demand also can be from the private firms for investment purpose. The aggregate demand also can be from the government spending. And lastly, can be from the international trade. Okay, from the export and import, that can also contribute to aggregate demand. Okay, so these 4 components of aggregate demand also fluctuate from time to time. That will influence or have the impact on the GDP or national income of an economy. Okay. On the other hand, what is the meaning of aggregate supply then? Aggregate supply actually is referred to the total number of outputs that wish to be produced by the producers in an economy. The total number of outputs that wish to be produced by the sellers in an economy. Okay, and the aggregate supply value is also fluctuate based on the production cost changes. Okay, based on the production cost changes in the short run. So the AS will fluctuate when the production cost fluctuated or changes. Okay, so let us try to check in more detail then how does the aggregate demand curve looks like. How does the aggregate demand curve looks like? Okay, aggregate demand curve is also downward sloping. Okay, it's also downward sloping. Okay, but when drawing the aggregate demand curve, right, the x-axis is referred to the national income or real GDP. You can refer to the diagram here. The x-axis is referred to the real GDP or national income, and this is in can be in the dollar sign. Okay, it's in the dollar sign. National income or GDP. Okay, so it's different from the market demand curve that we have gone through in chapter number 3. It's different. And this is aggregate demand. Okay, so the x-axis is referred to the national income or real GDP. Then how about the y-axis? Y-axis here is referred to the general price level of all the goods produced in an economy. Okay, this is referred to the general price level. So this is the average price level of all the goods produced by an economy. Yeah? So this is the general price for all other goods produced. All right. So you may find that is downward sloping the curve. That means like when the general price is getting lower, okay, it's reducing. If the general price for the product side is reducing, you may find that actually the aggregate demand will increase. The aggregate demand will increase when the price level of the goods produced in the economy is reducing. The aggregate demand will increase. Okay. So moving along, the demand curve is due to the factor of price change. Right? So the aggregate demand curve may move along. And the only factor that will affect the moving along the aggregate demand curve is due to the general price change. That's the only factor. Okay. So if the when the price level is increasing, you may find that the aggregate demand is reducing. Okay. And this scenario is called as contraction of aggregate demand. When the price level is reducing, you may find that the aggregate demand will increase and moving to the right hand side. So this type of scenario is called as the expansion of aggregate demand. It's moving along only. Okay. Okay, then how about the factors? Then what are the factors that will shift the aggregate demand curve either to the left or to the right then? What are the factors? Okay, the four factors, actually there are four factors that will shift the aggregate demand curve either to the left or to the right. The four factors are the C, I, G, and NX. Okay, these are the only four factors that will shift the aggregate demand curve. Okay, so the first factor is C, is referred to the household consumption. So when the household consumption increasing, okay, if people have money to buy things now, and they have higher demand for the goods and services produced in an economy, this will shift the aggregate demand curve to the right hand side, to the right. That means it's from AD1 to AD2. Okay. Second factor is private firm investment. Okay, so when this is the I will increase when the interest rate offered by the bank or by the financial institution reducing. That means when the interest rate is low, this means that the cost of borrowing for investment is cheaper now. Okay, when the interest rate is reducing, that means cost to borrow money for investment is cheaper. As a result, this will increase the investment among the private firms. When the I increase, this will shift the AD curve to the right hand side. Okay, the third factor is government spending. So when the government spend more money for the social welfare, for the defense service, for building highway, for building hospital, okay, library, roads, all these, this can also increase the spending of government. So once the G increasing, the AD curve will shift to the right. Okay, and the last factor is the net export. Net export is referred to export minus import. Okay, so when the demand for export is more than the demand for import, this can also increase the AD value and move the AD curve to the right as well. So far, okay. So these are the only four factors that will shift the AD curve to the right hand side or to the left. So far, okay, Quite easy to. Okay, I stop for a while. Any question on the AD curve? Yes.
How would we know whether to use this graph of the previous one's graph?
Okay, the previous one, that one is only for one product, right? The demand curve in chapter 3 is only for one product. But for aggregate demand is for all the products produced in an economy. Aggregate demand means all of the products in an economy. But in chapter 3, the demand curve that we learn, that one is only for one product. One diagram of demand curve is only for one product. But for aggregate demand is for all of the products. As a result, the price level here on the y-axis, the price level is referred to the average price for all of the products produced in an economy. Okay. This is the average price level. Am I answering your question?
No, sir, I'm saying how to compare within slide 4's graph and slide 3's graph.
Slide 4 and slide 3, huh? Okay, yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, the aggregate demand curve is downward sloping, all right? Confirm is downward sloping, but may not be a straight line, like for slide 3 is a straight line, right? This is only for to simplify our discussion, okay? But in reality, the AD curve may not be a straight line, but confirm should be downward sloping, okay? So this is only for to simplify our explanation. When you want to draw the graph, when you want to write essay to explain why the aggregate demand curve is downward sloping, okay, you can draw with a straight line AD curve, okay? But in reality, may not be, okay? Reality sometimes might be something like this. It's a curve shape, okay? So nothing wrong also if you can draw the AD in the curve shape or in the straight line, all are accepted. Am I answering your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So both are accepted, yeah? You can draw the AD curve with a straight line, or you can draw AD curve with a curve shape, as long as the AD curve is showing downward sloping pattern. Okay, it should be a downward sloping pattern. Okay, then I'll move on to aggregate supply. Okay, so you may find that the aggregate supply curve is opposite, is upward sloping. So that means when the price level of the products, price level of the final goods increasing, the aggregate supply will also increase. Okay, so once the aggregate supply increases, you may find that the GDP of the country also increasing. Okay. Why? What is the reason why when the price level is increasing, the aggregate supply also increasing? Is because when the price level is increasing, that means it's profitable, right? It's more profit to sell the products in the market now. So this will encourage more sellers to produce the products in the market in order to gain more income. Okay, so by producing more output in the market and sell to the economy, this can also help to increase the GDP value in the economy. Yeah, as a result, the AS curve is upward sloping. Okay, so what are the factors, okay, that may shift the aggregate supply curve to the left or to the right? Then what are the factors that may shift the aggregate supply curve to the left or to the right? There are a few factors generally, and these are the cost of production for the raw materials. Remember in the chapter 1, we already learned 4 factors of production, right? So the 4 factors of production can affect the aggregate supply curve, whether it's shift to the left or shift to the right. So what are the 4 factors of production then? The 4 factors of production are land, labor, capital, right? And
entrepreneur.
Yes, correct. Very good. Entrepreneur. Okay. So the cost, what are the costs, okay, that will occur in order to employ or use those resources? We already know that, right? For land, it would be rental, right? We have to pay rental. So rental is the cost of production for the producer, isn't it? And then for labor have to pay for salary or wage. So the salary and wage will be the cost of production for producer. Then how about capital? For capital, have to pay for interest, right? Capital need to pay interest. And another factor will be the technological knowledge, because when the technology is getting better and able to increase the productivity of the production, this can also lower the production cost. Okay, so these 4 factors can shift the aggregate supply curve to the left or to the right. So let's try to check one by one. Okay, labor, how then? Okay, labor, if the wages, if the wages of the labor is let me try to check. Okay, let's say it's getting cheaper now. Okay, let's say the wage rate now is lower now. Okay, assume that the wage rate level is lower now, is cheaper now. So what's going to happen then? Okay, the next consequence will be, that means the production cost for employing the workers will be cheaper. Okay, production cost for employing the workers will be cheaper. If that's the case, this will shift the aggregate supply curve to the right hand side. That means from AS1 to AS2. Okay, AS1 to AS2. Yeah, when the labor cost is cheaper. Okay, then second factor is the physical capital. That means this is the price, the price for the factory's equipment. Okay, rental. This is not the rental. This is for the price for the equipment, a machine, all this. If the price of this machine to produce the output, also if the price is getting cheaper now, that means the cost of production will reduce as well. This will reduce the cost of production for physical capital. As a result, this can also shift the aggregate supply curve to the right hand side. Okay. Then how about the natural resources? Yeah, natural resources can be referred to the mineral. Yeah, minerals. All these are if the economy able to find more natural resources such as mineral or petroleum to produce output, then this can also able to reduce the production cost, okay, and shift the aggregate supply curve to the right hand side. Another one will be weather also. Okay, weather. If the weather is nice this year, then this may also increase the quantity of this harvest in the agricultural production. So when the quantity of production increasing due to good weather, this can also shift the aggregate supply curve to the right. Okay. So in short, once the production cost is reducing, this will shift the aggregate supply curve to the right hand side. So what are the factors will affect the production cost? These are the four factors. Okay. Labor, capital, natural resources can be referred to the land, and also the technology advancement. Okay. So far so good. I stop for a while. Okay, yeah. Okay. So far, what we have learned, the aggregate supply curve is outward sloping, right? So this scenario only happened in the short run. Okay, this scenario only happened in the short run. Why? Because in the short run, we believe that there are fixed costs. Right? There are some fixed costs happen. Fixed cost means the land limited. We have limited land also, and sometimes we may not be able to employ workers to meet the change of market demand in the short run. As a result, you may find that the AS curve is outward sloping in the short run. Okay, but however, in the long run, the aggregate supply curve is no longer outward sloping, but is a vertical line like this. It's a straight line. This is only what happen in long run. Okay, this is only happen in long run, not in short run. You may ask, how long is long then? The economists do not mention how long is long. Okay, it's only mentioned that as long as when the economy, in the economy, when the input prices, it can be referred to the cost of production. Let's say this can be the, this will be the production cost. Okay. When the production cost is able to completely adjust in response to the changes of the final goods price. So in other words, what's the meaning of this? So in the long run, is expecting that the price level, okay, this is the final goods, final goods price level, and money wage rate. change the same percentage. Okay. So according to the economics, in the long run, actually the final goods price level and also the input prices such as the salary rate will change with the same percentage, will move with the same percentage. That means when the final goods price increase 10%, the salary of the workers will also increase by 10%. So similarly, when the final goods price level reducing 5%, in the long run, the salary of the workers will also automatically reduce by 5%. That is the meaning of this sentence. So that means the production cost can be easily adjusted in the long run in order to respond to the final goods price change. Because of this, that means, right, no matter what is the final goods price level, okay, no matter what is the final goods price level, you may find that like the aggregate supply in the long run remain the same, irrespective what level of the final goods price. Why? Because actually in the long run, the supplier or the producer can adjust the production cost. Okay, the supplier can easily adjust the production cost in response to the changes of the final goods price. So that means can be compensated. The expenditure and also the income of the producer in long run will be changed equally at the same rate. Okay, at the same rate. So as a result, right? As a result, you may find that the producer will just continue producing the quantity of output at the same level. Okay, at the same level, which is this level. Okay, so at this level is consider that the economy is at full employment as well. At this level, the economy is producing the goods at the full employment. That means is the raw materials and also the natural resources all are fully utilized by the economy in long run. As a result, the aggregate supply in long run is vertical. Okay. Because you may ask, why don't the aggregate supplier or the producer produce more goods in order to get more profit? Why? Because no point. In the long run, actually the input, that means the land, labor, capital, all these resources, the price can be adjusted. Okay, all the resources costs can be adjusted easily in response to the changes of the final goods price. Okay, so no point to produce more, because produce more will also get the same profit. The profit will be the same. So no point to produce more. Okay, so just continue to produce at the full employment level enough in order to get the same profit in the long run. Okay. So I stop for a while. Any question on this long run aggregate supply curve? Okay. So far, okay, yeah. All right. Okay, then in the short run, then where is the macroeconomic equivalent point in the short run? Where is the market, or we call it the macroeconomic equivalent point? Okay, so macroeconomic equivalent point achieved in the short run when the aggregate demand curve is intersect with the aggregate supply in short run. Okay, so where's the point? So for instance, if we refer to the diagram here, this is the aggregate demand curve. This is the aggregate supply curve. So the intersection point is here. Okay, so this point is called as the macroeconomic equilibrium point. So at this point, what is the macroeconomic equilibrium price level? Is PO. Okay, PO is the macroeconomic price level. And where is the macroeconomic national income level or GDP level? YO. Okay, YO is the national income or aggregate income, or we call as GDP equilibrium level when AS and AD intersect. Okay. Okay, so in short, today we already learned what is aggregate demand, what is aggregate supply, what are the factors that affect aggregate demand to shift to the left or right hand side, and what are the factors will shift the aggregate supply to left or to the right hand side. And we also study the aggregate supply in the long run is vertical. Why? Because in the long run, the production cost can be easily adjusted in response to the changes of the final goods price level. As a result, the producer in the economy will continue producing the products at the level of full employment, which is this level. Okay. So far, so good on this chapter. Before we move to yes.
For the aggregate demand curve, why does it go down? And then for the aggregate supply curve, why does it go up?
What is the reason?
Yeah.
For aggregate demand curve is downward sloping. Aggregate demand curve is downward sloping. What is the reason is downward sloping? That is because when the price, let's say the price level, let's say, okay, we assume that the general price level now moved down from GPL1 to GPL3. So what is going to happen? That means that the goods, okay, the goods in the economy now is relatively cheaper. Okay, generally, most of the goods and services produced in an economy is relatively cheaper now when the general price level reducing from level 1 to level 3. Okay, it's cheaper now. As a result, the consumer, okay, the consumer here can be referred to the C, the I, the G, and also X. You feel that it's relatively cheaper now to purchase the products in the economy, relatively cheaper. So these are encouraged to spending, to do spending. Okay, so once spending, that means this will increase the real GDP or income in the economy or nation. Yeah. So it's due to the price level change. Okay, when the price level change to GPL3, that means the goods produced in an economy is relatively cheaper. So these are encourage people to spend on the goods produced in the economy and increase the real GDP of the nation. Okay. On the other hand, what is the reason? In the short run, the aggregate supply curve is outward sloping. What is the reason? The aggregate supply curve is outward sloping. Okay, I'll give you one example. Let's say the original price level of the product is PO. Okay, and then the national income is at level 1 YO. YO. Okay, so assume that now the price level of the products generally increased to P1. So what is the implication? That means generally the price of the goods in the economy now is relatively higher price, right? Relatively higher price. If the price level is high, that means it's good for the producer. Why? Because when the price level is high, that means the producer can earn more money, can earn more income. Okay, can earn more income if the price of the goods is higher. As a result, this encourage the producer to produce more output in order to meet the demand in the economy. Okay, so this will increase the quantity supply in the economy. So when quantity supply increasing, we know that this will increase the GDP value of the country, right? The more output produced by the producer, the higher the GDP will be in the nation. Am I answering your question?
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Okay, I've been okay?
Yes, sure.
Don't forget, because in chapter in the chapter of national income, we already learned 3 approaches to calculate the GDP, right? Yeah, which are using the value added method, or using the expenditure method, or using the income method. But all these 3 approaches will provide the same GDP value. Huh? Okay, if no other question, then I'll move on to the next section, which is about the fiscal policy that can be used by government to monitor the aggregate demand of an economy. Okay, so let me change the PowerPoint slide now. Which is this is the week 10B lecture. Huh?
Teacher.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I'm going to share the screen now. Huh? Try to open the PowerPoint slide from Canvas. Okay, cancel. Okay, so can you see the slide for week 10B lecture slide? It seems I need to close this one first. Oh, now I try to close the file. Huh? I think I have to leave for a while. Okay, I'll come back again. Okay, let me stop recording. Then I'll come back to join the meeting again.